Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Unbreakable. I am Elle, and today our topic is 7 stages of grief and how they relate to chronic illness. Okay, why don't you start us off?
Okay, well, everybody's kind of heard of the 7 stages of grief, how it usually normally applies to a loss of a loved one or a pet. So we're all familiar with like the emotions that you go through, and we kind of felt like, if you really think about it, you're kind of mourning the old self that you were. So in a sense, you kind of go through all those grief stages. One of the first ones is shock and denial. I know that when I was diagnosed, even though I was searching for something for so long, just somebody to tell me what was wrong, for me, I really wanted to get a diagnosis that I could cure. you know, Here's something that's wrong with you. All you have to do is take these pills and it'll go away. Like everybody's kind of hoping for that, but it didn't happen. So I was shocked at what the diagnosis actually was, and a little bit in denial too, because for a while I was like, well, what if they got it wrong? What if I actually have Lyme disease because it's a mimicking disease? What if it's not lupus? What if I just have, this other thing? And I was constantly looking on the internet and thinking, well, maybe it's this instead. Maybe they got it wrong. So for a long time, I wasted time not accepting my disease. So I don't know if you went through that with like shock and denial at all in any of the things that you've dealt with in your life, Al.
Definitely. The shock more so probably than the denial. But, well, no, I can't say that either.
Mm-hmm.
But the blindness definitely was the biggest one for me. Um, the shock of realizing that you have it, first of all, and then realizing that it's a genetic disorder, so there's absolutely nothing that can be done. And then, the denial of the slowly decreasing vision over time. Yeah, that was probably the biggest one that I've dealt with.
Yeah, I can imagine, because that was when you were like losing your ability to drive, and I'm sure that was like really hard.
I lost my ability to drive when I was 27. Yes,
Wow.
it was extremely hard.
Yeah, I bet it was. Which, brings us into the next one, pain and guilt. Which, for us, it could be like pain over having the disease and guilt over what you may have done to cause it. Because a lot of people are like, okay, is this karma? Did I do something in my life to deserve this? Like, I don't know about you, but when I finally realized like I have this disease forever, it was really painful for me, like to realize that my life was going to be completely different. I was always going to have a disease, all these obstacles. And I did wonder, why me? And I didn't want to self pity, but I was just like, what did I do? Why do I have to go through this? And, for me, it's like, I'm just dealing with lupus. Your situation is far more severe, I think, with the sensory issues. I mean, how did you handle that? Did you have a lot of pain or any guilt?
Oh my God. A lot.
Yeah.
Guilt, especially because of things that people didn't think I heard them say. Um, as a child, even just when the deafness was prevalent, that was before everything else. And then, of course, the pain of, I can't be a good student, I can't be a normal child, teenager. There's just so much that goes with it. The pain of losing abilities to do things is almost indescribable. I don't know. It's like tying one hand behind your back and then it's the next one. And then you're like, how do I deal with any more? But then, you get more piled on. And, the anger just becomes, and the pain and the anger just start marinating together. For me, anyway.
Yeah, and that's like another phase, is like the anger. And I had that too, where I was just, it went from self-pity to being really, really upset with my situation and trying really hard to like work my way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
They say that like anger and bargaining kind of go together. Like, God, hey God, if I stop doing this, will you give me this back? You know what I mean, kind of thing. Or
Right.
like a lot. Okay, I think a lot of people can relate to this because most of us have been there. Where you're like, I'll never drink again. Like if you make me feel like really healthy and stuff like that, I'll never drink again. Because drinking has always been where some people get into this position where they have a bad night and they're like, oh my God, the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But and my chronic illness, it was kind of like if I take all these natural herbs and I stop eating this or that and I stay out of the sun, I won't have to take the medicine that my doctor is swearing will help me. And I went through that for a long time. And
Mm-hmm.
of course I was sick because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I was trying to like outsmart lupus.
Mm-hmm. And
I
in
was
some stages, denial still.
Yeah, like I was going to be the one that was going to figure out the way to just take care of it on my own,
Right.
did
Right.
you like have any situations in your life where you were like, I'm not going to do what the doctors say, I'm going to do it this way because I think it will work, and it just like didn't really help? Did you ever do that?
Oh. Um. Again, I was pretty young for most of it, so it was
Hmm.
pretty much like I'm crying out for help. What do you have for me? You
Right.
know. Um. So for me, getting the diagnoses and all that stuff, yes, there was anger,
Yeah.
but there was in my brain bargaining never occurred to me because that doesn't exist in this world. What are you freaking talking about?
Right.
You know.
Right.
Even at a young age, that was just a reality for me.
Hmm.
So my biggest one in that part was the anger. I mean, screaming at the universe, screaming at God, begging, pleading, just trying to understand. But
uh,
a lot of anger, a whole lot of it.
And that just eats like that really does a number to your body. And with having fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, I'm sure that was just a storm in your body.
It really was because the anger was basically draining what little energy I did have,
Hmm.
to function and do what I needed to do. So it was combating each other. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, constantly fighting each other, not combating. But yeah, I mean, it was not a pleasant time.
Right.
Definitely wasn't. I definitely was in my highest mood, highest of depressions. I would say one of my highest points of depression in my life.
Yeah. I think after like being so angry and stuff, that's when my depression got really bad too.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was losing all my friends that were like, you can't do this with me anymore. So we're just moving on without you at this point. Um, and also just like family saying, well, you should be better now, they figured out what you have, get over it, what's your problem? um and just
Yeah.
constantly like thinking about the past and how things were for me before,
Mm-hmm.
and just realizing like it was never going to be like that again. Like I mean, I wanted to go back to kickboxing so bad, I loved it so much.
Oh,
And hiking and canoeing, like I
I
can
saw
still,
hiking too.
yeah, I can still do like the canoeing and stuff, but
You pay
it's
for it later.
yeah. And so there's like all these things that I realized my fast paced life was pretty much over. And so that's really hard to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what kind of things did you kind of reflect on? I know that loneliness probably was a lot of it because nobody could understand your particular situation.
Oh my gosh, I was bullied so much
Hmm.
throughout my entire school life because I was a freak of nature. So loneliness was just part of my life.
I wish we knew
Um,
each other then. I wish we knew each other then.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
um, but of course, the depression was a really, really uphill battle. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm.
And as far as looking back, there wasn't, unfortunately, much to look back on. because, I was 11, 12, 13 years old. So it was, yeah, I can't, go to school like everybody, I'm tired, exhausted, or whatever, but I don't know how to explain it. I think it would have been different if I was an adult, I guess is the best way to explain it.
I mean, I imagine it must have been when you stopped driving, like looking back on when you had that freedom, I bet that. And the loneliness of people having that freedom and taking off and doing things and you not being able to do that.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard when you can't drive and you used to and you loved it. I used to love to do it. I would just take off and turn my music up loud and end up who knows where, and that
Yeah.
was just how it was, an
Hmm.
adventure. And so for me to lose the ability to do that was just gut wrenching and depressing beyond belief. Um,
Yeah.
I it did take me quite a while to get
Hmm.
over, and I still do it every so often. I mean, you can't help but not. Anybody with chronic illness, it's gonna pop up every so often. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think all these like stages that we're talking about, they do come back to you at different like phases, and it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a circle, because you get better every time, but
Mm-hmm.
it comes up again, and
Yeah,
it just does.
it does.
But for you, like, how did you start to build up this positive energy and make it like? How did you adjust to things and make things better? Like, how do you make the best of your situation?
Whew. Don't ask me hard questions like that.
I know it's like horrible. That is a hard question.
It's like, do you know how many years I struggled with this question?
Right? How
And
do
I'm
I
pretty
do it?
sure, right? And many of us, you're all, any of us listening that can relate. You're shaking your heads. I know you are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for me, I guess it was um realizing A, that I was not alone, even though I felt it.
Hmm.
B, um, finding a voice, finding things that I do still enjoy and still can do. Um, surrounding myself with people that make me happy as opposed to bring me down.
That's a big one.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And it's funny because when you surround yourself with more positive people and you are happier, your body will feel it too. Like
Yes.
you physically feel better.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
think.
your body hates it when you're upset, or so.
Yeah, I think we like our emotions definitely affect our illness. If your spirit is happy, then your body's going to respond. Um,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
the stress I mean, the stress on your body of just being angry or upset is really hard on your body once you have a chronic illness, no
And
matter what it
depression,
is.
same thing. Yes, depression,
Yeah.
same thing.
I mean, for me, it's like, for me, I had to get into a new routine. I had to say, okay, so this is how I have to live now in order to feel the best.
Hmm.
These are the medications I need to take. That was a big one for me because I didn't want to. Um,
Hmm.
and then I had to treat my depression, and that helped. But
Hmm.
it was like I had to find a new normal.
Yeah, there is no old normal anymore.
No, right. You have to find your new normal, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the easier things get, I think. For me, it
Yeah.
did.
Right. And that kind of comes with the recognition and working through it.
Hmm.
Is realizing that the old normal is in the past. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah, because you're reconstructing your life, basically.
Mhm. Right, and it stinks. It sucks. It's horrible. You hate it. You don't want to do it, but you have to survive. And if you do it right, you will get through it better on the other side. I promise you that.
Yeah. And I mean, it does get easier when you can start to like take, tackle the problems that you have. Because a lot of us
Hmm.
get into situations where um, all of a sudden you're like, bogged down with maybe financial issues because now you're
Mm-hmm.
paying all this money, or, you had to quit your job because you can't work anymore. Just life with your illness. Like, you have to structure a new way to live. And once you get there, then I think it's easier to accept your situation. Once you're able to work through and problem solve some of that stuff, and some of it is ongoing. I mean, we all have these issues that we have to deal with.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Like, what has been hard for you that you've had to problem solve, like in your situation? I know you got disability. That was kind of an issue at first, right?
Well, yeah, I had to apply twice, which for some people it's like, wow, really, only twice, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, but again, you have to keep in mind I was 11, so how many people are going to believe an 11-year-old has,
Oh
that's a
wow,
disability?
I didn't even think of that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's when all the symptoms started, and then you have all the documentation, and everything else. But it's like you're still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? So that's why it took 2 times because I had to have a lawyer who, stood up and,
And
um,
then, I mean, I know for a while that I know that it's better for you now, but you were using a cane a lot, and like your eyesight, there must be things that you've had to do to like problem solve all those issues, like with
oh wow,
lighting. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I can't go to restaurants, most restaurants anyway, because the lighting is always dim. So especially in the evening, forget about it. Forget about it. Um,
And you keep like a lot of lights at your house, right? It's
oh my
really
goodness,
bright. Hmm.
my roommate is amazing.
Hmm.
He's awesome. I will mention him many times, but I will not say
And
his
he
name.
is. He's
But he,
wonderful. He's
yeah,
wonderful. He is.
but like almost as soon as we moved in together, my vision started deteriorating. That was when I lost, soon after I lost my license and stuff. And he started picking up on the fact that unless it's a blue white light bulb, I can't see it.
Oh,
If
wow.
it's a
Okay.
yellow light, if it has yellow on it, forget it. You may as well put me in the dark. I can't distinguish anything for whatever
And so
reason.
now I realize why my house was so dark to you. Okay. Wow. I did not know that. I learned something. All right.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird, odd things that goes with my vision. So it's like
Hmm.
that's why most people walk into the house and they're just like blinded by the light. Yeah, no, it's because I'm blind as a bat, and this is what works best for me. So, um, yeah, and doing that, and especially, you know, that's the only thing that sucks is you can't get the people in public to understand that.
Right.
So when you can't see, they think you can see because you don't have the cane that they identify with. So, depending on the lighting, you just look like you're really drunk. Yeah.
Right. Because you got somebody holding you and stuff. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
For me, it was like the whole sunshine thing. Like in the middle of summer, everybody's barbecuing and they're having all these parties.
uh,
And so my problem became, how do I still participate and not completely put myself into a flare, because too much sun can just completely destroy me.
mm-hmm,
Because it starts up this whole inflammation response, and I get the rash, and like it's one of
mm,
those major triggers. So
oh,
I've had to come, to problem solve that issue. And
right.
it's like things that people don't think about on a normal daily basis. Like, nobody thinks about what the lighting's like when they go out to eat. They just go out to eat. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
thinks about how the sun's going to hurt them when they go to the beach. They just go to the beach.
All right.
So,
Well, the worst they think of is I get a bad sunburn. You
right.
know,
Yeah, exactly.
the
So,
worst in
yeah.
your dim lighting, you put on some glasses or
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure people can relate to that. But then, like, once you problem solve all that stuff and you start getting
Right.
used to it all, I think for me at that point, I started to accept, you know, I started realizing I was accepting it, because here I am I'm finally living the life. I'm finally accepting my disease.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally have hope for the future that, you know, it's not going to be horrible. Like when I first found out, and I thought it would be awful, like I'm at a point right now where having lupus isn't great, but it's given me a lot of opportunity, and I've made it a positive. Like you can turn it around and make it a positive if that's what you want to do. You can create a different life and a new life, and I think that's where I am now, and it makes me really happy.
I know. And I'm happy
I
to.
really didn't think I would get here. So, and I am. So anybody who's listening, if you feel hopeless, please just hang in there, because
You will get there. Just keep going, keep chipping away, keep. I promise. Yeah, you will get there. If you need help, there's help.
Yeah, and for me, having a support system, a group of, women, especially for me, that understand chronic illness and support each other, super important. Super important. Helped me a lot.
Support system is like the most important thing in chronic illness, period. It really, really is. If you can find that, it is gold. It's priceless.
Yeah, because everybody has been at different stages at different times, and so we can comfort each other and offer solutions, or say, hey, this is what I did, give it a try. Things you wouldn't even think of. Like I've learned so much from the women that I'm surrounded by, and so many have gone before me and say, hey, this is what you got to do. This is, and it's helped me so much. So I really, really, really advocate for that. Please find your support system if you don't have one. And if you don't, come to me and Elle, and
absolutely, we'll help you out.
We'll help you out. We know where to send you.
And it'll be nice, I promise. So don't worry.
Yeah, it'll be good. And then also, I know that therapy's been a big thing for you, and I have a psychiatrist. So, how has therapy helped you get through all this stuff?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're just talking about the chronic illness for right now, but I've had therapy and all my life, pretty much, more of my life than not. And but with the chronic illness aspect of it, it has really, and the biggest thing is to accept myself for who I am and to not blame myself because of the things that I've been given for whatever reason. Which, it's huge. I'm still working on that, trust me. But it has really helped in leaps and bounds, as far as the biggest thing, accepting yourself as you are, which a lot of people have problems with, even if they're not chronically ill.
You're right.
So working on that constantly, I think, would be my biggest thing, is, be kind to yourself, be understanding to yourself, because let's face it, nobody out there is usually going to. So you should at least be that way. And as therapy has taught me, that's how it is. You need to be kind to yourself. You can't depend on everybody else. You don't necessarily know if they're going to have a support system or not.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, you have to be happy with you. So
you have to find a way to not only cope, but accept it.
Yeah. My psychiatrist, of all people, my psychiatrist helped me do that.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, because you wouldn't think that you would find it there, because they're typically people that just give you the drugs that you need to
my psychiatrist isn't that way either, but I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
Right. And, normally they just do that. But for my psychiatrist, it was the same situation where we talk about my chronic illness, and we talk about how I feel, in my life as myself right now. I think you have to constantly work on yourself. I think that's just part of life. Like you said, with anybody, we all have to do that. And when you have chronic illness, I think it's super important, because when you get into those loops of despair for whatever reason, or just feeling like you're a horrible person for having all these problems,
you're just taking up space. It's why am I here? Yeah.
Right. I'm just a burden to other people, blah, 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 blah. you start doing that and you get stuck in this loop and it really drags you down. And all of a sudden, everything that you've done to accomplish starts to unravel. So it's good to have a psychiatrist, a therapist, somebody you can check in with because they really help you stay out of that,
Right. And
pull you out of the loop.
And they can teach you techniques that you can do on your own that will help you to combat that stuff as well.
That's true. Yeah. There's a lot of different techniques. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah. One of these episodes we'll talk about some of them, but for right now.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. That's a really good idea. But all I'm saying is like if one technique doesn't work for you and you don't like it, find another because there's going to be something that makes sense to you. Yeah.
There's so many out there. Just because you tried 1 or 2 or 10 or 5, there's many more out there. Don't give up. Just because you tried them, there's one out there for you.
Invest in yourself because you are the most important thing
Absolutely.
that you will ever have.
Absolutely.
Right? So what's the question of the week? I always love this part.
Yeah, because I do, but I don't. What can someone say to you that actually makes you feel better or having a hard time?
It's funny because a lot of people ask me that actually, and I've asked people that, like, tell me what I can do or tell me what I can say, which kind of puts a burden on the other person because then they're supposed to tell you, like.
Which is why I don't like this question.
Right. So one of the things I would say is, don't do that. don't ask me what you can do or this is the big one. If there's anything I can do, please just let me know. I'm here for you, and I've actually said it to people and it's terrible because it puts the burden on the other person.
Exactly.
So
don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. I think for me, the best thing a person can say is, I care. And then just try to laugh with me. Like, honestly, distraction is like perfect.
Right.
Like, yeah. Like just something that makes you smile, send me a funny meme or, tell me a funny story, get me laughing. That's really the best thing, I think. What do you think?
I agree with you. I'm right there with you.
Like, are you? Yeah.
Good company. People that will make me laugh, people that will make me forget, people that truly care, understand. That's the best thing for me. People that will send you a text message or call just to, check in. And you might not even being bad. You might not even been having a bad day that day, but the fact that someone thinks of you is like, just checking in, see how you're feeling, and because they know you have ups and downs.
And just being like the person that might help distract you, but also is like, I care, and when you're ready to talk, I'm here for you, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice.
Exactly. I agree with you completely. So, I don't really have much to add on that because you did so great. So I'm just going to go right into the topic of next week.
Okay.
So what is that?
Exercise and nutrition. And of course, we're not going to go into all this like stuff that you see all the time, like Beachbody and drink shakes. Obviously, this is in reference to chronic illness and what's best for us.
Or what's normal for us, so to speak.
Right. Because, obviously our nutrition does make a difference to a lot of our illnesses. And there are exercises that can be very harmful for us and some that are really positive. So we're just going to get into that and talk about that a little bit.
I think, especially for any of you that may be newbies listening, this could save you a lot of pain.
Yeah, let me tell you. And I can tell you I did all the wrong stuff, so I have a lot to say about it.
Yes, he did.
Yes, I did. So, yeah.
So our final thought for this week, Kay, is...
Illness changes who we are. Illness teaches, yet it tarnishes. It can define, but it prefers to refine. Illness has potential to divide, but it can also reconcile. You are not your illness, yet your illness will shape who you become. Will you be filled with hope? or bold with bitterness. Illness will change you. How will you allow it to change your life?
I love it.
It's pretty
Choose,
deep. Yeah.
yeah. Choose to be bold, people. Choose to be strong.
That's right. Be positive. Turn it into a positive. Do not make yourself better, not bitter. I love that saying.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
I love that too.
Yeah.
So with that, just remember, everybody, no matter what, you are not alone. And
We'll see you
you know
next
how
time.
to. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and yeah, you know how to find us. We're on social media. Please feel free to say hi because we really enjoy interacting with all of you.
Absolutely do. Please say hi. Say just say hi.
Reach out.
Reach out. Absolutely. Reach out and tell someone what you hold. I'm gonna shut up now. We'll
All
talk to you
right.
next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.